Welcome to 360 Radio.
So welcome in the producer of the Jim Rome Show.
Hi, this is Jason Stewart with the Jim Rome Show.
Hey, this is Vic Chaser from The Chronicle, and you're listening to Salty and Josh at West 360 Radio.
Cue the music, let's rock and roll.
Yeah, they're a bunch of grannies anyways, especially that old giraffe that they have playing quarterback.
His name is Michael. He runs a website called Madden Maniac. How you doing tonight, man?
Excellent. How are you?
Doing well, doing well.
Oh, I'm not smoking.
All I have in this world is my balls and my word, and I don't break them.
How long do we have? I got to pee. Bleed Green, how you doing this evening?
Doing great, man. How are you?
About the mistakes we make, it's about how we react.
Your mind will either be blown by awesome commentary, not from us, but from some of the guests that we pull on the show, or it'll be blown from this natural stupidity that flows from our mouth when you put a couple of microphones in front of some Degos. You know what I'm saying? The one and only Cobra.
Hey, it's Cobra. What's going on? Again, you guys do your homework.
Our tens of listeners. Tens.
By the way, you both got great voices.
I think I'm going to change my name to Sonny White.
How's it going, gentlemen?
My Little Pony. Friendship is magic.
Nothing wrong with My Little Pony. I've watched My Little Pony numerous times.
This is Larry Stone from Titans Radio. You're tuned to West 360 Radio with Salty and Josh.
Welcome once again to three. It's fun to hear myself echo in my headphones. Radio. I am your host, Salty. That's right. When I do 360 Radio, I go by my moniker that I've always had, and that is Salty for 360 Radio. And in studio, as always, fresh off of watching the latest fresh outfits on the red carpet, because that's what he likes to do at the Grammys this year. My co-host Josh. And Josh, how did Kanye West look tonight at the Grammys?
You know, I don't pay much attention to Kanye West, but I do pay a lot of attention to Mr. Jack White, who I think is one of the few men still flying the banner of rock and roll and mainstream music. Loved his performance tonight. It was fantastic. In fact, Album of the Year is What's Up Right Now, which his album Blunderbuss is one of the nominees. But you know what? I gotta say, I'm kind of an old school guy. You know, I as much as I like some modern music, I really who got it? Mumford and Sons got Album of the Year. Congratulations!
Oh, nice.
They're pretty good. I kind of
They're good. They're good.
They're good. I like. Okay, but I was gonna say I'm kind of an old school guy, and you know, although I do enjoy some modern music, and as I've grown through the years, I really enjoyed whatever was some of the mainstream rock and roll that was going on at the time. But I really like older stuff, man, like stuff that was way out there before I was even born. You know, I love Led Zeppelin, and I love The Doors, and I love, you know, those kind of classic rock and roll, man. And one of those bands is The Band, and unfortunately we lost frontman Levon Helm earlier this year, and on the Grammys they did a tribute to Levon Helm and Mumford and Sons and the Jack Brown Band and Zach Brown Band and Elton John and a few other guys were up there, and they did The Wait. And man, it stole the show. As much as I love Jack White and he was great, the old school, man, old school stole the show tonight. It was fantastic.
Old school is good, Josh, and you know, there's a sweet sound that we don't hear anymore. That sweet sound of imperfection, if you will, off of Led Zeppelin albums or Beatles albums or the Doors albums, you know, where they were recording without auto-tune. And it's just such a pre-made, manufactured product, if you will, these days, you know, like a band like One Direction. Would One Direction ever make it back in, back with the Doors and Black Sabbath and stuff? They'd been laughed out of the music industry. But for some reason, music has got to the point now where these prefabbed, you know, only there to make money bands make it, or artists, and lip syncing and stuff. You know, one of the things I really enjoyed, I think, was Aretha Franklin when she sang at the inauguration. She sang, and you heard it. You heard her passion, her soul. Yeah, it wasn't perfect, and it wasn't strictly perfect, but she belted it out old school style, and I respected that. And then you get Beyonce up there, and yeah, she's talented, but she didn't sing. And then when she got caught for lip syncing, then she came out and said, "Oh, I'm a perfectionist. I like things to be perfect. I like everything to be perfect and stuff." Well, there's a problem with that, because she didn't come out beforehand and say, "Hey guys, I'll be lip syncing at the concert. This is why I do it. You know, I'm a perfectionist, yada yada yada." It was only after she got caught that she was lip syncing that she made a statement. And so, you know, I'm with you, man. I like those old school artists and stuff. The Metallica of the 80s and up to the Black Album, that was awesome. You know, after the new stuff, have you heard the new Metallica album? It's freaking crap, dude.
No, it's not crap.
You like the new album?
Hang on, let me rewind you a second. First, it was Aretha Franklin at the initial inauguration.
Yeah.
This year, it was Kelly Clarkson who blew Beyonce out, even with Beyonce's stupid lip sync. Kelly Clarkson rocked, and she was great tonight. That's not even my kind of music. I'm not much into that pop music, but man, she can wail. I like chicks that can wail. Plus, she's kind of pudgy and doesn't fit the whole pop star mold. So
she didn't used to be pudgy. What happened after American Idol? She freaking pudged up.
I don't know. Maybe Big Macs or something, chicken wings. Maybe the girl likes to have a beer. I mean, I don't know.
So now you're saying Kelly Clarkson likes McDonald's.
I'm not saying.
Just said Big Mac, and we all know where you get Big Macs from.
All right, maybe she goes filet of fish. I don't know, but the bottom line is that she doesn't fit the pop star mold, and so that I respect. Okay, so where we were? Oh, so the Metallica. We want to talk about imperfection. All right, Metallica. The latest album was Death Magnetic, and it came out. I don't know. I think it was 2008, something like that.
No, they have a newer album.
No, Death Magnetic was the last one.
You sure?
I'm positive. If you're talking about Saint Anger, the one that came out right before it, you're correct. That was like 2004 or something like that. Yeah, not so good. It had a couple of decent songs, but for the most part, no, it wasn't very good. But the absolute latest Metallica album, Death Magnetic, is fantastic. It kind of gets back to the roots of the band, heavy guitar solos, heavy riffs, grungy sound, monster vocals. It was probably overmixed, if anything. Now we're really getting into the weeds, getting inside baseball when it comes to music. But it was a very good album, and I've seen him perform it live, and it's fantastic. It's fantastic.
I'm talking about this. Let's see. Maybe I'm confused here because they have another one coming out called Beyond Magnetic.
That's the EP that came out after Death Magnetic. That was kind of the tag on. Those were the songs that didn't make the album. That's the one that they released. Yeah.
I'm just saying. And Justice for All, one of the best.
Gosh.
Kill 'Em All, one of the best. Even Sandman, whatever that one was called, the Black Album.
Lightning and Master Puppets.
Those were good albums, dude.
Oh, amazing.
Creeping
amazing.
Death. I mean, you can't, And then, I know it's a divisive topic to talk about. It's like politics, right? Either you like it or don't.
Yeah.
When they went load and reload, I checked out, dude. I'm sorry. I'm done, dude.
But I gotta say though, as bad as some of that stuff is, there are some moments on those albums that are pretty good. There's a couple of moments on Load and Reload, but you're right when you're talking about a body of work where you're releasing albums like Master of Puppets that's about flawless from start to finish, and then you release something that's only got a couple of good songs.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Stones going from Exile on Main Street, one of the greatest albums of all time, to Steel Wheels.
Yeah, with Injustice for All,
a couple of songs, but it's not Exile.
You put Injustice for All on, you want to beat up your mother and stuff. You can listen to it all the way through without having to fast forward or skip a song and stuff. Load and Reload. Yeah, there was a couple, but it wasn't just that. Put it in and freaking you're headbanging for the whole entire thing. I don't know, man. Those were their best, dude, back in the day. And yeah, I don't know. Anyway, all right, moving forward, Josh.
Are we gonna do a football show?
We're gonna talk about our league.
Welcome to Rock and Roll 101.
We're gonna
Salty and the Murph.
Yeah. We're gonna come down off our high horse from branching out. Even though we get more listeners still at 360 Radio than we do on our branching out, and we're gonna come back to our roots, if you will, Josh. And we were talking earlier. I've missed 360 Radio because it's a chance to talk about Madden and our league. And like we were talking earlier, we do this all the time as it is. Text, Skype, phone, whatever. We're always talking about our league. And so why not include 30 other guys to involve in the discussion and stuff? If you want to call in about your team, call in anytime tonight. The phone number is 971-270-2007. That number again is 971-270-2007. We'd love to hear from you, especially if you're a new guy, especially if you're in the playoffs. I don't know, it's kind of late Sunday night, but if you are live and awake, especially if you're live, Shazani, are you live out there? It's a snowstorm. We'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear from the guys who made the playoffs, and maybe just guys in general if you're new. 971-270-2007. Tonight on the show, we're going to do a little regular season recap. Going to look at the season that was. We're week 17 now. Most of the playoff spots, I think all of them. Maybe NFC South still yet determined. And Josh, we could be prophets, because earlier in the year there was a tie. I believe it was week 1 between the Panthers and Saints. And we said this will be interesting to watch as it comes down the line. Right now the Panthers 10-4-1, and the Falcons are 10-5. It's going to be interesting to see if that tie has any impact in the standings there. So we're going to do a regular season recap. We'll blitz through every team. We'll also do a playoff preview. We'll look at the offseason, and we'll look at the draft. And we got a caller coming in right now. Caller, you're on the air. Who are we talking to?
Hey, how y'all doing? This is the Bears owner, USC.
USC. How's it going, my man?
Hey, what's going on, man? Just checking y'all show out, man. This is pretty dang on cool.
Thank you.
Thank you. You shocked the world, my man. You beat the Packers. You gave them their only loss of the year.
Yeah, so it was undefeated, and I didn't know what was going on with them. But the first time I played them, we played a close game, 27-21. So I figured if I played pretty much the same style, I have a chance. The second time around, the snowstorm definitely helped. For whatever reason, he decided to air it out, and I just played a ground game and pulled it out. Interceptions.
Hey, I love it. I don't want to see anybody go 0-for in our league, and I don't want to see anybody go undefeated, because that just says, the league's out of balance. So, and plus, if someone's going to go undefeated, it better be me first. You know what I'm saying?
I definitely understand that. Well, I'm glad y'all guys live in the league. I'm definitely going to improve these Bears in the offseason and try to make the division, at least the NFC North, not a one-team division.
There you go.
Hey, I got a question for you about your team. When you're going into next year, one of the problems that our previous owner of the Bears had was that he had a big problem with Jay Cutler and his inconsistency. I see that you only threw 1 pick in that game against the Packers, and that was really the big difference, was that he threw 5 interceptions and you only had 1 with Cutler. But Cutler only got you 29 yards. Now, you did grind it out on the ground. You had 19 attempts with Matt Forte for 75 yards, and really that along with the turnovers was the big difference. Are you looking to is Jay Cutler your franchise guy, or are you going to look for somebody potentially in the draft or maybe free agency in the offseason?
Most likely free agency if I can't re-sign him. When I took over the team, I noticed there's 4 key players on the Bears squad that are unavailable for me to sign. So I don't know what the previous GM did. Maybe he was lowballing them on deals, but I can't even talk to them. They don't even talk to me. So they're going to hit the market. Cutler is one of them.
Oh.
And I have to decide, do I want to franchise them or not? And it all depends on my salary. But as of now, I'm hoping I can get him back for next season and plug up some holes on the offensive line, because that's the biggest weakness of this squad.
Yep.
As far as the interior line is just terrible.
What's your history? And do you want to go by Earl, Dontel, USC Weezy?
Dontel's fine.
What's your history with Madden, Dontel? You've been playing a long time?
Oh, yeah. I've been playing since Sega Genesis, 92.
Yeah.
Nice. The military time. That's all we used to do was play dominoes and Madden.
Nice.
Pretty much all through when I was in college. College pretty much played more NCAA football, just because of the environment. Everybody was into college football. Only had a few Madden heads with me, so I still played, but not as much. But when Madden came out on the 360, I was hooked. And then I got in a league, and I was in a league for pretty much from 06, 07 until I joined you guys. I got unceremoniously dumped from that league. The owner had a little tiff with me about another sport, another game that I dropped, and he didn't appreciate that, so he kicked me out of the Mad League. So
oh man,
I was looking for a home, and I'm glad I found you guys because in that league I never could get the Bears, and then I find you guys and got the Bears. So everything happens for a reason.
There you go.
So it's all good.
Well, we're glad to have you here. Glad to have you, West 360, and glad to have a good Bears owner. That's they're always one of the prominent teams in the NFL. And we always try to get guys that we always want to match them up with their favorite teams. And you've done a great job with them. Looking at these scores, you lost to the Packers, who, as we mentioned at the time, were undefeated. You only lost to them by 6. Then you blew out the Saints 29-10. You beat the Packers in the close one 13-7, and then won again, another tight divisional game, finishing off the Vikings, winning 13-10. So good things looking for the Bears. Only a handful of wins, I think 4 wins on the season. So you're in a great spot when it comes to the draft, despite the fact that you got some guys that are going to be leaving due to free agency. So I look forward to watching and seeing what these Chicago Bears could do for you next year.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm definitely going to try to make the city of Chicago proud, and at least, like I said, make this into at least a two-team division and maybe a 3-team division, because the Vikings are pretty tough. I have a hard time with them. Both times we played, they were low-scoring games. I've learned through Cutler, and really just playing the Bears, I had to kind of get used to how they played, because when in my previous league I was with a different team, so I had a whole different style.
Yep.
And I noticed with Cutler, he's a little off sometimes. Sometimes it's me, sometimes it's him. So I had to realize, what? Just lean on the pass, on the run game, and my defense. And that's the one thing I love about the Bears. The Bears' defense is really, really good. So I lean on them and try not to force mistakes. Because like my game with the Vikings today, he had me pretty much on the ropes. He was up 10-0. Took me time to get my run game going, and I really couldn't get it going like I wanted to. So I said, well, let me open it up to the pass and hit some passes here and there, and forced him into a couple of bad throws. I think he got impatient for whatever reason and didn't lean on Adrian Peterson, but I was glad that he didn't. So I ended up getting like 3 interceptions, and that kind of turned the tide, and I ended up pulling that one out too. I haven't played the Lions yet, so I don't know. Because by the time I joined the league, the Bears have played them both times, so I'll check him out next season.
He got Roddy White and Calvin Johnson Jr. on his team, and that's pretty much all you need to know about that team.
It's going to one side of the field or the other.
Yeah. So it's like the Falcons in pass.
Yeah. He's good. Looking at your team, you got $15 million in cap space. Looks like you got 10 guys, I think, to re-sign. Cutler is definitely one of them. Urlacher's locked up for 6 years, but he's 35. If we're lucky, we'll get 3 more seasons. Hope for sure 2. You're looking in pretty good shape to have a good base, a good draft, and get some good free agency guys.
That's maybe somebody to cut even. At 35 years old, I don't know how rapidly his stats are going to decline, but 35 years old on a 6-year deal on a team strapped for cash, you may get 1 or 2 more years out of Urlacher before it's time to let him loose.
Yeah, he's
not with a $19 million bonus.
Oof!
Yeah.
Ow!
He's big on the cap, but he's definitely the heart of my defense. I can say that, and I'm definitely looking at the draft to see can I find a replacement or at least an heir to his throne.
Yeah.
Along with some other positions, but with free, I guess the question for you guys as far as free agency goes, we're going to have like a 1-day advance, 2-day advance, or like 48 hours for each free agent period for like each week.
Well, go ahead, Sonny.
It's something that we'll decide based on when the Super Bowl ends. We typically have done drafts on Sunday nights. We always put it up for a vote. Do like a Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, maybe throw in a random weekday there, and let the league decide when they want to draft. Usually it's Sunday night, because that's when usually everybody's home. And so then based on the draft, and then based on when the Super Bowl ends, will kind of be based on how long we want to spend in the off season. And it's one of those, it's tough because it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't, pardon my language, but the off season is good, and it has to. I mean, it's important. It's important to get the draft guys, but we don't want guys sitting idle for 3 weeks, especially if you ain't made the playoffs. That's an extra week already. You're sitting there, and so usually we try to get it done in a week. But
yeah, that's perfect.
Well, ideally, we'd like to hit it quick. The first period, really, the re-signing period, that we'd like to give 48 hours to guys, in case somebody can't get in front of their Xbox to get them re-signed. But really, it ends up, at least from what we can tell, and we're going into our third year here with this incarnation of Madden. We got to line it up with typically a weekend draft and most likely a Sunday to get the maximum amount of participation for the live draft. So it really kind of ends up being that, we can say we're going to advance every 24 hours, but then we end up getting to a point where we got to wait around anyway. So then we just look at it and say, okay, what are the most important positions or the most important stages, and then that's where we try to draw it out. So to kind of answer your question, we could end up a week from today drafting, and so it doesn't matter if we schedule a 24-hour or a 48, it's still going to be a week before we draft anyway. So does that make sense?
Oh, perfect sense. That's fine.
Yeah. So
cool.
All right. Well, good deal. Well, hey, we really appreciate you taking over the Bears. Look forward to having you in the league. I've seen you've been real active so far, and we just, we dig that. Not only do we like to see guys get matched up with their teams, but we want to see activity in the league. And you've been great addition to our league so far. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for calling in tonight. And, look forward to having you in West 360.
All right, man. Y'all take care.
All right.
Have a good night.
Right on, Dontel.
You too.
All right, Josh, let's just start with the NFC North, since Dontel kind of ushered us into the talk up there. He mentioned making it a 2-team division. And if Hod fans listening, he better take offense to that, and so should Ostie. But based on the record, you can't argue with what he said, because the Packers, they destroyed it this year. Last year they were pretty good, made it to the NFC Championship. This year they came out and they were just smoking. They rattled off, I think, 13 or 14 straight wins until Dontel came in and beat them.
I would say that going into the postseason last year, that while, I don't think anybody expected to see the Packers do what the Packers did. And really, they only lost, obviously, the one game in the postseason that cost them a shot to go to the Super Bowl. But since he started that run going into the postseason last year, this guy's lost 2 football games.
Yeah.
The Packers are deadly. Absolutely deadly.
He's impressive. So you got the Packers. We got to think they're going to be good for a number of years down the road. Vikings, Hod fan, who, by the way, his birthday tomorrow, Josh. I believe he turns
Happy birthday, Hod.
54 years old, Josh. 54. And for him, we're going to blow birthday bubbles.
He's still looking at
Birthday bubbles for Hod fan. All right. So Hod fan's 7-9, middle of the road, 16th ranked in the league. He has Peterson. I think he's having quarterback issues up there. I don't know what he's doing with his quarterback. What do they got? Christian Ponder?
Yeah.
Is he your guy to go for the next 2 years? Is he going to advance? I mean, who knows? Then you got the Lions. Excuse me, I'm burping up my Dos Equis. The Lions, 26th rank. I believe their offense was one of the most prolific offenses in the league this year, and it should be if you got Roddy White and Calvin Johnson Jr. Why are you not just sending them on streaks and throwing up bombs all day long, I guess that's unsim. The Lions, their offense should be good. The defense, they've lost 6 straight. The Lions were 5-4, and they've gone on a 6-game losing streak. You ain't gonna win a lot of games there. Given up over 500 points and had scored 424 points. So again, offense good, but defense wins championships, right? Then you got the Bears. Urlacher's 35, getting old. He is the anchor. It's not out of the context to state that he could still be the main leading guy on the defense for the next 2 years, because we'll probably go 2 more seasons, hopefully 3 if we get our butts in gear. So I don't know. Do you think the Bears can climb out of that cellar position they're in right now to challenge the Packers? Or do you think this is the Packers division still for a couple more years, a couple more seasons?
I got to say that I think the the Bears are definitely going to challenge just on the track record that Dontel has turned in already to this point. I got to see that it's certainly going to be much more of a challenge. He's already 1-1 against that team. So assuming that he's going to have roughly the same level of success against the rest of the teams in the NFC and even the AFC, he's proven he can beat one of the best teams in our league. So that means that he can keep up with anybody, and I'm not going to, I wouldn't be surprised to see if he could take any of them out. So that said, if he can play with the elite teams, he can play with the rest of his schedule. The Bears are definitely going to challenge. I think Ostie and his Lions were a little bit of a letdown this year. I think he would admit to that based on the free agency acquisitions that he's made and the maturing of Calvin Johnson and Matthew Stafford, and he's got some pretty darn good players on that team. I think what kills him is defense. And then when we look at the Vikings, and again, happy birthday to Hod fan. And let me go on a slight tangent real quick. That is one of the cool things I like about our league. We got guys in their 50s. We got guys in their 40s. We got guys in their 30s. We got guys in their 20s. And then we got Frankie.
And we got a guy in his 60s, the guy who drinks goat milk.
Is he in his 60s?
I think he's 62. I think he's 62.
I thought he was late 50s. We'll have to clarify that.
I think he's 62.
Because I think that would be really sweet if we went over 5 decades. That would be amazing. But anyways, that's one really cool thing about our league is the level of diversity that we have and a bunch of great guys. Anyways, all that said, Hod fan and his Minnesota Vikings. It's not Christian Ponder. Christian Ponder's riding the pine, man. We got a young guy, McLeod Bethel Thompson.
That's right.
And then also Andrew Kirby, who threw for just 1 yard shy of the 2,000-yard mark, threw for 15 touchdowns, 23 picks. But you kind of expect that with a young quarterback. But the guys right now, he's got 50% completion percentage, and I think this looks to be the guy that he's going to ride going into next season. So be curious to see what the Vikings do. They had a strong draft this past year in the offseason. With the record that he has now, he's going to have, potentially be in a position to pull some more high-profile players, some high-attribute players. This could end up being a 4-team race. It really should be when you look at the level of talent dispersed amongst the 3 teams. When you look at the Packers, you got some aging players there as well. So going to be a lot of fun. Definitely a 2-team race, potentially a 4-team race, and it's going to be fun to follow. And what is this, 2015 we're going in?
You done?
I don't get no music. I don't get no Roxanne.
I just played it.
Oh, I couldn't hear it.
Oh, jeez.
Well, no wonder I didn't. Otherwise, I would have stopped like however long ago.
Yeah, I was just playing it for you. You couldn't hear it?
No. Sting was on the Grammys tonight too. Tribute to Bob Marley was awesome.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, both the Marley brothers, Sting, and Bruno Mars. Man, it was phenomenal.
Hey, let's start a show called the Music Dagos. Hey, if we get 5 shows, maybe we'll have 10 listeners.
We're going to call it an evening well, whatever. I was going to try to come up with something clever. The Grammys, an evening with the Dagos.
You and clever don't work. Looking at the Packers, they got $11 million cap space and 9 guys to sign. Rodgers will still have 2 years left on his contract, so next year he'll have to be signed. I imagine that'll be a lot of money, but I see the Packers continuing their tear in the NFC North over there. Let's jump over to the AFC North, where you have the Bengals 11-4, Cleveland 6-9, Pittsburgh 5-10, and the Ravens at 5-10. Something that should be noted: I believe the Ravens are 4-0. They're 5-0 since coming to West 360. Tiger Roar, before he left the league, he was 0-10, and we were going, gosh, these guys are going to go over. But he came in 5 straight, and to me, not a knock against Tiger Roar, but I'm happy to see when good teams are good. There's no excuse for the Ravens being 0-10, is there?
We talked about it numerous times on the show. When you look at the talent, top to bottom, offense and defense on that team, you got some serious skill at the skill positions. When you look at guys like Ray Rice, Torrey Smith, Anquan Bolden, Ed Dixon, Dennis Pitta, that's just on the offensive side. Obviously, on the other side of the ball, you got 3 of the best cornerbacks in the game, high-speed guys, high-man coverage guys, Ed Reed, hanging out in Bernard Pollard. You can go on and on and on. Haloti Ngata, Terrell Suggs, Daniel Ellerbe. team is freaking stacked. There is no reason, and I'm not calling him out. He's not longer part of the league, and I'm not going to speak ill of anybody that's gone. But I will say this, though, that I think to have a team with that level of talent and to have absolute zero success to the point of your departure, I think he kind of checked out a little bit before he actually checked out.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna say anything. Looking at the Ravens, they got $3.3 million cap
What's the matter?
space.
You shy of controversy?
I don't like controversy. I don't do controversy.
I'm just kidding.
Ravens, $3 million in cap space, and they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I can count, Josh. I can count. They got 11 guys to sign. Bolden is one of them. Looking else, any other high names? You got a defensive tackle, Bannon, 82 overall, and Brewster, 71. Their center. So really, it's just like Bolden and a bunch of other guys there. And Bolden, what do? Do you re-sign Bolden? I mean, in real life, he's saying, re-sign me or I retire. What do you do in Madden? He's 32. He's an 88 overall. Makes, his salary was $28 million, bonus of $10 million this year. He's making $8.89 million, and you only got $3 million to spare. What do you do with a guy like Bolden?
Well, I think you got to look at, it's just like in real life. You got to look at what's the return on the investment. How much money is a 32-year-old possession receiver going to demand? And I think that's what you got to look at. That while, I kind of rhapsodized about him last night when we did the Sports Dagos, because in real life he's talking about retiring if the Ravens don't resign him. He's a phenomenal athlete. He's a phenomenal pass catcher. His catch and traffic rating should be 120. I mean, the guy can absolutely, I said it last night, he's got vice grips for hands. The guy does not let a pass go despite the amount of coverage that's on him, but he doesn't have that ability to separate. He never really had it to begin with, and now at 32, how much of that does he have? So I think that when you look at the pass catchers on this team, and you look at that, Torrey Smith is going to be your number one guy. Ray Rice absolutely is a threat catching the football out of the backfield. Ed Dixon and Dennis Pitta are absolute threats to catch the football out of the tight end position. So really, when you look at Anquan Bolden, he potentially could be third or fourth in your progression when it comes to targets on the field. Shoot, even Vontae Leach can catch. So I think that's what you got to look at. How much money is this guy going to command? How much is that position worth to you? How much is that possession receiver? And I'm looking up his attributes right now. Let's see. He's right now his 88 catch, 99 catching traffic, 86 speed. I might just play him at tight end.
Okay, do you hear your music now?
Yeah, I heard it.
Okay.
Let's talk. I got a man crush.
Let's talk.
You're surprised by the result?
Hey, no one's a bigger fan of Bolden than me. On that 3rd and 1, when he leaped into the air to catch that ball, I was like, I think I love you more than I love Colin Kaepernick. That was phenomenal, Josh. That was phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Let's talk about the real team, though, huh? The Bengals. Bengals win the division. Domino. I think, Josh, for the 2nd straight year, they have won this division.
That is correct.
I believe they won. Well, the score on the bottom of the screen here. They beat the Texans last year in the wild card. They won the division last year at 9-7, and then they lost to those pesky Raiders in the divisional round. This year they're 11-4. 11-4. Doing pretty good. Do you think they're going to get past the divisional round this year? Are they for real? I believe their defense is even better this year than it was last year. Check this out. They're first overall in points on defense, first overall in yards, and first overall against the pass. And the rush, they're no slouch there either. They only give up 79 yards a game, and they're 13th in the league on the rush. Bengals. Are they legit? Are they going to make some noise in the playoffs?
Chris and Mr. CJL and those Denver Broncos have come on awful strong here lately, including taking out those pesky Raiders in the regular season, which none of us saw coming.
I hate the Broncos.
And so, that's most likely going to be his first-round matchup. I believe the Titans are scheduled to play the Buffalo Bills. Well, it's not scheduled, but I think that's the way it's going to shake out. Either. Yes, I think the Cincinnati Bengals have a chance to make it out of this first round. And here's why I say that. Not only is their defense fantastic, and it always has been. Yeah, as long as Domino's been with us, he's always had a very stingy defense. Andy Dalton is kind of Andy Dalton. He does what Andy Dalton does in real life, and he does in Madden. He's thrown for 2,500 yards. He's got 21 touches, 21 picks. But when you look at the weapons that the Cincinnati Bengals have, they almost read like an all-star team. And I think that, and I'm not calling out his gameplay. I played him, I think, week 1. Domino and I played, so I don't know what trends he's done here lately. But when you look at the weapons, if Domino can get himself into a position to where he can start spreading the ball around and start getting you stepping and fetching on defense to try to figure out where he's going to go, I think that he has a chance to really run off some big-time points on offense. In the backfield alone, he's got Danny Woodhead, Peyton Hillis, and Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, okay? So he's got a lot of threats back there.
And Dallas Clark at tight end.
Well, hold on. I'm talking about the backfield.
I'm sorry.
Okay?
I'm sorry.
So Peyton Hillis, Green Ellis, and Danny Woodhead. Peyton Hillis is the feature running back, running for over 1,300 yards.
That's a brontosaurus whale, just in case you're curious. Continue.
But catching the football, Wes Welker, Jermaine Gresham, A.J. Green, Jordan Shipley, Woodhead out of the backfield, Dallas Clark. That right there, that's 6 guys that potentially could get the ball downfield. That, to me, is where if Domino can get a hold of that offense and to really diversify offensively, instead of throwing to Wes Welker for 54 receptions like he has and A.J. Green only 40, start spreading that around a little bit more.
That's pretty good, though. And then
that's not bad.
Gresham, 31. That's good balance, I think.
All right, and Woodhead, 22. Fair enough. But we got 21 picks to go along with it. So I guess
that's the problem, is the picks.
That's the problem. So reduce the predictability, take advantage of the weapons that are available to him. I said all that to say this. I think that if he can get his offense even remotely close to the level that his defense is performing, Domino could definitely get out of the first round and potentially contend for that matchup.
I would agree. I think that his defense is legit. I don't know if he has kind of a running game. Let's see, what did he do here? Peyton Hillis. Well, Peyton Hillis has 1,300 yards in the season.
Yeah.
It's the picks. It has to be. I mean, check it out.
That's
1,300 yards rushing with Hillis. Close to 1,000 yards with Welker. He's 11 yards shy of 1,000 yards. Gresham, 615 catches, or 615 yards. That'd be too many catches. 456 by Green. He spreads the ball out. It's the picks. 21 picks compared to 21 touchdowns on the year. If he got that offense in shape, oh my gosh, he'd be the best. He'd be phenomenal. He'd be phenomenal. Yeah, Bengals, I'd be scared to face them. They got $10 million free in space. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, about 14 guys to re-sign. The big names, Bart Scott, but he's, 32. We got Danny Woodhead to re-sign. Jennings, a cornerback. Looking there. Wes Welker. That'll be interesting to see what he does with Welker. Welker's a 96, 32 years old. His salary this year was 6.5, so not a whole lot. So Thomas or Newman, a cornerback, he has to re-sign him, but he's 35, so probably cut him loose. Bengals looking to stay consistent, I think. They were there last year. They're there this year. They improved. I think they're going to be another contender in the years to come. Browns, we're going to see anything from them. Steelers 6-9, Steelers 5-10, Browns 6-9. Is that more to be expected? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean the Pittsburgh Steelers are a lot like the Baltimore Ravens. That there's a lot of talent on that football team, and while obviously 5-10 is not 0-10 like we saw out of the Ravens earlier. I think we should expect a little bit more out of Big Bubba. We've seen more from him before, and really just based on the talent in that division. They all kind of beat up on each other a little bit, and he had a tough AFC conference schedule this year. He went 4-7 in the conference, and that's tough. And frankly, we got a battleground in the AFC, man. I mean, there's a lot of tough football teams in the AFC, and so. So a tough road to hoe for the Pittsburgh Steelers going into next year. And I think that, after the performance of Shelton and the Cleveland Browns in the past, I was really surprised to see them. Right now they're sitting at a 6-9, got one game left to go. At best, going to finish 7-9. I didn't expect that at all. I fully expected that team to be well over 500 and challenging for the division. And here's where I think is really going to go awry next year for this division is the Baltimore Ravens. 2 girls, 1 Rudy. He's won 5 straight. That's the only
Time out. What the crap is 2 girls, 1 Rudy? Is that like a freaking urban slang dictionary type thing? What the heck is 2 girls, 1 Rudy?
I'm not going to answer that.
Do you know what it is?
Well, it's probably a reflection on 2 girls, 1 cup. It's in a loose reference to a 3-way. There's all kinds of connotations to that you can Google and figure out on your own.
I'm going to Google it right now.
All right, Google it. Anyways, so the Baltimore Ravens have won 5 straight. And this is a football team that, as we mentioned, is way too good to be 0-10. Right now, Rudy's got them at 5-0. And going into this next season, this team will contend. Domino, I'm putting you on watch, dude. The Baltimore Ravens are going to challenge you next year for the the AFC North title.
Yeah, tough guy. You're going to be challenged. All right. While we research 2 girls, 1 Rudy, we're going to take a commercial break. Brought to you by, I believe, Josh's good friend at Titans Radio, Larry Stone.
This is Larry Stone from Titans Radio. You're tuned to West 360 Radio with Salty and Josh. This is Larry Stone from Titans Radio. You're tuned to West 360 Radio with Salty and Josh.
Thanks, Larry Stone. Welcome back into West 360 Radio. And
hey, what are you doing? That's my line.
You told me to drive the bus. I'm driving the bus. We got
Larry
Stone.
I was kidding,
Radio.
Otto.
Let's talk some Titans, man. Let's go AFC South.
I'm the Otto.
You want me to drive or you want me to sit in the back, man?
No. Okay, NFC East. Potentially a very new competitive division. I think it's kind of fun. Mad Will, the Redskins, he's had a lock on this division for quite some time. He won the Super Bowl. You win a Super Bowl, you're an icon in our league. So, 13-2, another great season by the Redskins. He brings his buddy into the league. His buddy is a Redskins fan. And I believe at the time, the Eagles and I think the Bears or somebody else was open. He chose the Eagles. And I was like, really? As a Redskins fan? And I don't know if he did it to be in the same division as Matt and Will or whatever, but he chose to be in that division. And now the Eagles are 12-3. I like this division. Giants, 4-11. Caruso, slow and steady. Always had a mediocre kind of record. Blair, Cowboys. Looks like it's getting worse. Looked like he was on the fence about just quitting altogether and stuff. So glad he's gonna stay.
Please don't from the radio babies to your ears, Blair.
Yes,
hang in
please
there,
stay.
buddy.
Please stay. Redskins, Eagles. Who's the better team in this division? I don't know how many losses the Eagles had when he took over. I don't know exactly what he's done, but is Mad Will's reign in the NFC East over?
You want me to go now? You want me to hold the wheel for you?
Go ahead. Drive it.
All right. I think that, Mad Will has a long track record in West 360 of being one of the more dominant players. And, at 13-2 right now, he's won 6 straight. We talked about him last year when he won when he won the Super Bowl last year with the
World Series.
I know. It's getting late. I've been watching the Grammys all night and drinking wine. Go figure.
Okay.
We talked about him being good with the Redskins last year, and then we speculated in the offseason, the legit offseason, in between Madden games about how well this guy is going to do when you add RG3 to the mix. And he's clearly not only kept his reign in that division, but really stepped it up with the play of RG3. That's a young player that's only going to get better. And I don't really know a ton about Holy Toledo, but I know this. He's won 3 straight, and he's looking at a 12-3 record going into the last week of the season. So I can't expect anything other than for these two teams to battle it out next year. Caruso has done well at times. This year was a challenge, and Blair, same thing. So I'm going to say this is going to be a 2-team race going into next year. And, man, just a battleground in the NFC East, kind of like what it's like in real life.
The Redskins have 4 guys to sign. Their punter, kicker, some guy with the last name of Shirley who plays defensive tackle. Josh, do you want your defensive tackle to have the last name of Shirley? I surely don't.
I am serious. Don't call me Shirley.
And then you got Morgan, a receiver, 28 years old, made $1 million last year, or $10 million, a bonus of $6 million. Redskins looking in good shape. $9 million going into the offseason. Only 4 guys to sign. Looking pretty good. Flipping over to the Eagles, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12 guys to sign. Macklin is one of them. You got Allen, a strong safety. Nobody else really important. Gronkowski, a fullback. Other free safety, Ryan Grant. Matthews, receiver.
The other Gronkowski, that's kind of like Roger Clinton.
Yeah. Well, what's that show with Tim Allen, Steve Claus or something? that movie? Didn't he make a movie about Santa Claus's brother?
No, it's called The Santa Claus, but he turns into Santa Claus.
No. Somebody made a movie where they were Santa Claus's brother.
Oh, Fred Claus. That's Vince
yeah. Fred Claus.
Yeah, Fred Claus. Yeah.
I knew it was some popular name, Steve or Fred. Same thing.
Chris Gronkowski is the Fred Claus of West 360.
So Fred Claus there at fullback. He'll sign him. So Eagles got $9 million. Eagles looking only $1.1 million for cap penalty next year. NFC East looking to be competitive. Redskins and Eagles. Caruso, Giants. I don't know. I don't know what to make of those.
Come on, Caruso. Man, he's a longtime owner of ours. One of the more respected owners we have in West 360. I'm surprised, man. That's another one of those teams. I mean, it's so funny how we have teams like, the Browns at times or the Redskins at times in West 360 that have been fantastic. Shoot, you, for crying out loud, with the Raiders last year. You won the Super Bowl with possibly the worst football team there is, and then we have other guys with the teams like the Ravens and the Giants and these types of teams, and we're like, those guys can't win football games consistently. It's funny. I guess ultimately it speaks to why we love this game, because it's not a direct reflection, but man, it's really kind of surprising, honestly.
Yeah, it's I like a league that's competitive. I like to see good teams do bad and bad teams do good and stuff. I think that's kind of fun, and it's always the fun of doing these leagues.
Unless
like
the Broncos, then we just want to see them do.
Yeah, hate seeing the Broncos do good. Look at the Cardinals down there in the NFC West, 12-3. Cardinals, really?
Seriously, dude.
He keeps begging me for a good team, but I don't want to give him a good team. I'm scared of what he'd do with them. All right, NFC East. I'm going to wait to get to the AFC East because that's my favorite division in all of what we do. Let's jump down to the AFC South. Take it away, Maestro.
Let's talk a little bit about the AFC South. When we looked at the way this division finished up last year, we had 3 teams that were in double-digit victories, and the only division in all of West 360 that had 3 teams in double-digit victories. The Indianapolis Colts won it. The Houston Texans were a wild-card team, and my Tennessee Titans finished on the outside looking in at a 10-6 record. And I knew going into this year that it was going to take 11 wins to qualify for a playoff spot. I was wrong. 10 wins would have got it. 10 wins still would have secured a wild card, but I am glad that my Tennessee Titans finished out 11-5, and while I just finished shy of the division, I'm going to make the playoffs. So look forward to that. K-Matt continues to prove that he is the class of the AFC South. He lost 1 game last year. He's lost 2 games so far this year, and I don't have any reason to expect that he's going to lose another in the last week of the season. K-Matt plays phenomenal defense. That's the absolute slam dunk of his football team. We have some guys like Scotty, K-Matt, guys that are fantastic at grabbing control of a player and putting them in positions to make plays. And while, I think we all have defensive backs that make plays, I got a lot of guys that knock passes down. K-Mat's defense doesn't knock anything down. They snag it out of the air. If you try to test tight coverage, he's picking it off when you try to go downfield. So I think the K-Mat is going to be in a strong position, although he didn't win a playoff game last year despite being the number 1 seed. I think that...
Wait. So you're saying he lost 1 game last year? Is that correct?
Yes, in the regular season.
But his loss column equaled more than the games he won in the playoffs. Do I have that right?
That is correct. And much
Continue.
Like real-life Indianapolis Colts, he was one and done. And, but again, unless he's just, unless he's just going to fall victim to that like the real Indianapolis Colts and his beloved Peyton Manning, I don't expect to see him go one and done. I mean, it would surprise me if he did. But anyways, going into next year, I mean, he's clearly got to be the favorite. I think the biggest surprise, I finished 1 game better in wins and losses than I did last year. The biggest surprise to me was the Houston Texans. They fell off 5 games, and I got to attribute it to one player. And I know...
How much did that trade affect him, is my question.
There's 22 starters on a football team, and 11 of them are on the offensive side of the football, and only one of them plays, starting wide receiver. And that guy that he traded away was Andre Johnson. And I honestly think that although I split against him this year, we went 1-1. He beat me the first time, and I was able to take care of him the second time. When that trade happened, I knew at that point that by not having to account for Andre Johnson for every offensive snap of the football game, it was going to free up my defense to do different things. And I think that not only the Tennessee Titans, but everybody in the AFC that played against him found that same to be true. He was 4-7 in the conference, 2-3 in the division. And I think that Derek, while he obviously made that move in order to better his football team, I think that in the end it hampered him for this year. Now, will it pay off for him in the long run? I would say normally wish him the best. He's a division rival, so I can't say that. But I hope that it works out for him as he hoped that it would. But, man, that really hamstrung his defense an absolute ton. He was still effective with Arian Foster. Matt Schaub is Matt Schaub. He's still got some fantastic players on defense. Jonathan Joseph is an absolute monster on defense. But losing Andre Johnson cost his team offensively, dropped them to 6-9. Lastly, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars. I got to commend Lumpkins. He's 1-14. Great guy. Very active member of our league. Very vocal, before and after your games. He plays good. In watching this guy mature in his gameplay, this is now the 4th game I've played him in 2 seasons. His gameplay has matured an absolute ton. He is way more effective on offense than he was in the past. I don't have MJD stats in front of me, but I'm going to go ahead and assume they are elite in our league because he does a great job of getting Maurice Jones-Drew the football both in the running game and the passing game. His defense has stepped up, especially with the lack of talent that he has. And this is a guy that I'm going to say is going to continue to improve. He's going to be strong in the draft based on his draft position, and that the Jacksonville Jaguars will continue to climb up the ranks and be a team that's something to deal with. That 1-14 record is certainly not reflective of his gameplay because he's definitely gotten much better.
Jumping over to the other conference, NFC, looking at the NFC South. Last year, this division was dominated by Scotty. Made it to the playoffs. I think, what is his record here? His record was 13-3. Lost to the Packers, divisional round, 30-14. Black Ops 2 came out, and his game quickly stumbled. No. 10-5 on the year for the Falcons. I believe he still is in first place in the division. The Panthers, though, are 10-4-1. He has a tie. And I'm not sure about the head-to-head with those guys. Maybe you can look at it, Josh, while I'm looking on the Xbox here.
Well, the one counts as a loss, so that might as well be 10-5. I mean,
exactly.
It comes to tiebreakers, the tie counts as a loss. So,
on the standings, the Falcons are ahead.
Yes. The Falcons are ahead, and honestly, depending on we haven't got to the West yet, but the Seattle Seahawks are sitting at 10-5 as well. So unless the Carolina Panthers, I don't know if there's no way they can achieve that wild card. I think that the Carolina Panthers, unfortunately, because Marvin has played so well this year, but unfortunately, I think they're out regardless.
Well, did they play head-to-head, Seahawks versus Panthers?
It won't matter because even if the Seahawks finish at they'd have to. No, they both have 10 wins. So
yeah,
the worst the Seahawks could finish would be 10-6. Yeah, then it would come down to a tiebreaker. The Carolina Panthers would be then 10-5-1.
Well, the Panthers still have one more game to play.
That's correct.
Or have they already lost this week?
No, I'm saying if they did lose, it
okay.
Look up their schedule right now.
Carolina plays Atlanta. Ooh.
That's it. There you go. That'll drive it home.
Oh wow, interesting. Man, how cool is that? Top 1-2 in the division. Whoever wins goes to the playoffs and wins the division. You can't ask for a better last game than that.
Because the Falcons will be 10. They'll be 10-6.
But the Panthers would have one more win.
Yeah, they sure would. So
yeah, they each have 10 wins.
Yeah, fantastic.
That's cool.
And I tell you, Marvin, I played him earlier this year. I squeaked out a victory against Marvin. His Carolina Panthers are something to deal with, man. That is a good football team. He has got Cam Newton into a full-on passer, despite the fact that guy's a threat with his legs. He doesn't use him like that. He uses him as a passer, and him and with Steve Smith and Greg Olsen, forget about it, man. That is a good offense.
Well, it's defense too. Look at his defense: 5th in points, 5th in yards, 3rd against a pass, 12th against a rush. Despite that game against K-Matt, where K-Matt kind of just had his way with them, and Marvin was quoted on Facebook as saying everything that could go wrong went wrong. We've all been there before. His defense is tearing it up and leading the way. He's top half of the league in everything besides passing yards on offense, rushing yards, 111 per game. That's good. I always respect a guy who rushes for over 100 yards per game. Newton's 95 quarterback rating on the year. Jonathan Stewart has over 1,000 yards. Salim Davis, close to 1,000 yards receiving on only 36 catches. That's pretty impressive. Yeah, those Panthers tearing it up. I like seeing them successful. Ever since Marvin made that run, and we probably talk about it, we probably beat the dead horse, but he made that 8-0 run with the 0-8 Colts during one of our first seasons at West 360. It was pretty phenomenal.
Hey,
go ahead.
This just in: Colts defeat Texans at home, 35-13.
I wonder if he was resting his starters.
Who?
Interesting.
Peter? No, the Colts thumped them.
No, I wonder if the Colts were resting his starters, because I talked to him. He said he was going to rest his starters.
Well, he still can't. Well, I don't know. He came out with a big win one way or another.
Punk. Well, I'm resting mine now. All right. Saints and Bucks. Tom Browning, loyal, one of our first owners. Never heard a peep on Facebook. Never heard his voice on the radio. I think we could be getting catfished for all we know. 6-8-1. Had a better year, I think, this year with the Saints than he did last year. Still one more game for him to play. Peaster and the Bucks. I don't think he's ever recovered from what happened last year when he went 7-0. But Josh, we got a caller calling in. Caller, you're on the air. Who do we got?
This is K-Matt G.
Oh, here we go. You didn't get enough last night when your wife riddled you on the air?
Let me just say, there was some sucking up going on when I got home from work.
On whose part? Yours or your wife's?
Well, since she's in bed right now, obviously her part.
Gosh. Okay. Did you rest your starters, or did you play them?
Sorry, Salty?
Did you rest your starters, or did you play them?
Ryan Lindley played the whole game.
Who the heck is Ryan Lindley?
A backup quarterback from San Diego State.
Did you play wide receivers, Thomas Jones, everybody else play?
No. I think Jones came in on third down because I forgot to switch that, but other than that, no.
Okay. Risky.
I did play most of my defense. I will say that. I'm just a stickler for defense. I don't like giving up points. So I did play most of my defense and came out with no injuries. So, and plus,
Now,
they got the interception record, so that was good.
Here's the deal with you, though, K-Matt. You tore it up last year. You tore it up, one loss, but you lost in the playoffs. I think it was to Bleed Green and the Chargers, 24-17. Does that still sit? Like, are you still bitter about that? Have you pushed that away? Are you looking to make obviously everybody looks to make an impact in the playoffs, but does that kind of motivate you this year to, I don't know, try harder, maybe not do what you did last year? I don't know what happened last year.
Kind of what happened, similar with you, and actually when I played Josh, the last game, what happened in the first half. You guys know I get stubborn with my passing game, and if it's not working, I will throw till death. But I guess for you, it kind of gave me a whooping. I learned the hard way. Sometimes it's better just to run and punt than it is to throw the pick sixes or give you an interception on a 30-yard line. So you got to mix and match. The pass works if you got a good running game. Before this, I really don't count this game. Well, I don't count it. My previous two games, Taiwan Jones ran up almost 400 yards in 2 games. So, I think I was talking to you. I got his trucking up because that was the difficulty I was having with him. As soon as he got hit, he would go down.
Yeah.
I mean, he's fast if he gets the corner, but as soon as he got hit, he would go down. But I got his trucking up, so I'm a little bit more confident with him, but luck's going to have to come up big in the playoffs. I'm gonna have to
Can Thomas Jones be an every down back for you?
Taiwan Jones, and thanks for setting
Taiwan Jones.
You think that he's a Raider, you think that you would know his name.
That's why I traded him. I don't like him.
I'm sure you would do that trade all over again, huh?
Nope. Free. Help me win the Super Bowl. I'm happy. How many do you got?
I knew that was coming. Well, last year I used him as every down back, and he was over 1,200 yards. I decided this year to go with more power back and got Ridley, but Taiwan Jones started the last 4 games and only ended up 8 yards less than Ridley did. I mean, I averaged about 6 yards of carries with him. That the burst of speed, if you just got a clear path, that'll get you 5 yards. But like I said, the trucking I was really having a problem with. I got it trucking mid-80s, so mid-80s trucking, 97 speed. I think he can be an every down back.
Well, it looks like you use him a lot in your passing game as well.
Yes, he is. Kind of using similar to what Josh does, CJ. If you get that speed on a linebacker,
look out.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a mismatch that you're looking for. So,
is there somebody in the playoffs you don't want to face, or is it just anybody come Lucas Oil and we're gonna play everybody the same?
I mean, to be number one seed and to say I don't want to play somebody, that would be not very confident and just. I mean, that's how teams lose. So I don't care who I play. I honestly would like to play you, just to get some payback, and that would obviously have to be in a conference championship game. But I don't want to give him a big head, but I'm really not looking forward to playing Josh the 3rd time, 5th time in 2 seasons. They've been close games, one play here or there, so I'm not really looking forward to it. I kind of hope he loses. I believe he's going to play the Bills.
Yeah, I should play Matt Rastard, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, you play a team 5 times in 2 seasons, you eventually learn each other very well. So,
well, and those scores have been getting closer. The last one, I think, was really close. So, yeah.
3 points. Man, I'm pretty sure most of our games have been within 1 score, have they not?
Except for the first one, the rain game, where you just decided to throw me the ball all the time.
Yeah, that was brutal. Yeah. My completion percentage to get to your defense was awesome.
I thought you had me last game, 21-3 at half, and it was literally like a blink of an eye. It was tied in turnovers. I mean, turnovers is going to win the Super Bowl. Whoever doesn't turn the ball over and gets ahead Because most of us have a good secondary. So if you get ahead and then you make the other team have to throw, it's going to be tough.
That's it. And, you know, like you mentioned earlier, being stubborn and staying locked into that passing game, you know, having a 21-3 lead at halftime and trying two 57-yard field goals in the rain, that's just stubbornness, you know, defined, and I deserve to lose that football game, and I'm actually kind of thankful that it was still ended up only being a 3-point game after throwing 6 picks or whatever it was. So I think that if we match up again in the playoffs, I look forward to it. I always enjoy our games, Matt. Although I'm always on the wrong side of them, I definitely enjoy them, and thank you for. Go ahead.
No, you're right. Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, thank you for calling in, though. I've enjoyed our rivalry over the past. You know, it's been over a year now, Matt, that we've been doing this thing here, this little West 360 radio thing, and our league and all that. And appreciate your involvement in it, and appreciate your involvement in the Sports Dagos. And look forward to the next round.
I appreciate you guys bringing me on board when you did. I'm going to try to be more interactive. Just Saturdays and Sunday nights are tough formats, to be honest. I got to get up at 5 in the morning, Sundays through Wednesday. So hopefully I can be more interactive. But, yeah, I'm glad I got in your division. I mean, the competition.
Hey.
I don't mean that.
Hey.
See,
We play.
That would be okay, man. That would have been a shot. But I meant that as a compliment.
And we played 2 games, I think, this week, in our West League, in our fantasy league. So that should be fun. That should be fun.
Both of us. That's pretty cool.
I am sure, Beast Junior, that you'll find a way to win. Don't worry. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that on the air?
What did he say? I didn't even hear him. Your tooth got in the way. Speak up.
Oh, I said, don't worry, Beast Junior. I'm sure you'll find a way to disconnect or something and beat me. I'm sure. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Josh.
All right.
Thanks for calling in, K-Matt.
Appreciate it, buddy. Have a good night.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a good one, guys.
We'll see.
All right. K-Matt in his slow southern draw, begging his Colts to 14-2. Josh, breaking news. Dun-dun-dun, beep, Morse code, whatever. Bengals defeat Cardinals 34-21.
Wow.
I'm not sure if starters are playing, what the deal, but that's a big win going into the playoffs.
No playoff implications there, but those are 2 division winners with strong records going up against each other. And wow, well, there we go. Kind of what we're talking about. You know, when Domino gets it right offensively, that team is an absolute handful.
Yeah, that's I'm telling you, man, they're gonna be good. All right, Josh, where are we at here? NFC South. Back to what I was saying before, but before K-Matt called, Peaster, 7-0 last year, phenomenal start. Tanked it this year, 6-9. I don't know if he ever recovered from that. I do know that freaking whatever they call him is tearing it up. Doug Martin, what do they call him? The hamster?
The muscle hamster, yeah.
Muscle hamster, yeah. 1,400 yards, 17 touchdowns. I think he still has Josh Freeman as his quarterback. If he can ever get Freeman on par with what Martin's doing, and I don't know if it's a defensive thing down there or not, looking at his stats right now, oh yeah, it's a defensive thing. He's dead last against the pass, second to last against overall yards, and 25th against the points, giving up 31 points a game. If he gets that defense in shape down there in Tampa Bay, he'll be a lot better. Ooh, another game coming in. Seahawks defeat the Rams 45-40. Seahawks defeat the Rams 45-40. So Seahawks are going to be 11-5 on the year. So that means, yeah, whoever loses that Falcons-Panthers game, well, let's see, I don't know. Yeah, whoever loses that game is out, and then the winner of that division goes, and the Seahawks, I believe, just locked up the other wild card. Yep. Yeah, that's how it works. Oh, we got another call coming in, Josh. Another call.
Okay.
Caller, you're on the air. Welcome to 360 Radio. Who do we got?
Baracko Drama.
Baracko Drama, you sound beat up. What happened, man?
Hey, I just got beat up by the Bengals.
Man.
What happened? Did he finally get some offensive production together? What happened there?
Nah, Nick Foles did his best Mark Sanchez impersonation.
Was he being a double agent again?
Huh?
Was Nick Foles being a double agent, pretending to be for your team but playing for the other team?
Hey, he seemed like it. I think I threw. I mean, I'm still not. I'm not beating myself up about it. I mean, when you throw 6 interceptions and you only lose at the end of the game, I mean, you can't really beat yourself up about it.
No.
Was it Foles? Did you lock into certain pass plays? Were you trying to throw into tight coverage? You know, we commend the Bengals quite a bit for having a good defense. You know, they play some good secondary. Was it him or was it you? Because I know sometimes when I have a 6 interception game, a lot of times it's me, despite the fact that Jake Locker's not doing me any favors. There are a lot of throws that I wish I could have had back. What happened there? Was it him or was it you?
Well, the first, I'll take blame. I'll say like the first 2 interceptions were me. He was doing a good job of disguising his coverage, you know, and he kind of threw me off a little bit. But towards the end, man, it was just tight throws that if he had a little more accuracy, he would have got it in there. Like, you know, the type of coverage he plays, you have like a second or 2 to get the ball into certain positions. And by the time I really started breaking down his defense, you know, I was too deep in the hole. But, I mean, I was down 6 with like a minute and some change left, driving, try to win the game, and threw a pick 6. So,
does a loss like that, you know, last week of the season when you're playing, I'm assuming your stars were playing, does that affect you going into the playoffs, or is it just shrug it off, playoffs, a whole new season starts?
Yeah, well, I mean, you already know how I feel about this team, so, I mean, for me to even be 12-4 with these guys, I ain't gonna even complain at all.
Man, go ahead, Josh.
I was going to say, you know, absolutely true. You know, you got some good players. You know, you got guys like Tony Gonzalez and Larry Fitzgerald, and, you know, obviously on defense, you know, Adrian Wilson and Patrick Peterson and maybe Quentin Groves to this point. You know, you got a handful of good players, but really, at the end of the day, the Arizona Cardinals are one of those teams that are just absolutely challenged, especially from a depth perspective when it comes to Madden. I think it's impressive enough that you've got them to this point to where you got the division locked up. You're 12-4. You're going into the playoffs in the NFC. But what are we going to see out of these guys going into next year? You know, the previous owner had Vince Young slated as an MVP. That didn't work out. You know, you brought in Nick Foles.
He was smoking rocks, dude.
Oh my God!
Come on.
Okay, and you know you got Nick Foles, could be a serviceable guy. I mean, is he the franchise guy though? Is this the guy that's going to lead the Arizona Cardinals to the promised land this year or next?
Well, I mean, he's probably going to have to be. Nobody. I don't really see anybody trading me a quarterback, and I have so many needs on the team that all season wide, quarterback is not going to be my number one priority. I'm gonna have to definitely try to get some other things. I need cornerback really bad. I'm hurting at linebacker. I mean, my running backs, if you sneeze on either Dents or Spiller, they're out for half the season. You know, so I got a lot to do, but I'm petitioning with the admin. I've been talking with Salty to try to see if I can put a blockbuster player on the market, Mr. Larry Fitz. For some reason, I can get approval to move Larry Fitz. I can probably get enough pieces to make a significant difference to my team. So we're gonna see how that goes.
We'll keep talking. And regarding if we do, I get first dibs. But here's the deal. Brock hits me up all the time, going, man, what do I gotta do to get a good team around here? And I keep telling him, you got to stop winning with the Cardinals. Because if you're going 12-4 with the Cardinals, I don't want to give you a good team. I'm scared of what you do with the good team. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. If I would have known that, I would have tanked. That's all you had to do.
All right. Well, hey, man. Appreciate having you in the league. You've been a good addition. You came highly regarded out of CNFL, Lewis's league over there. First time calling the show, if I memory serves me correctly here. How long you been playing Madden? How long you been playing in online leagues? How many leagues are you in? Give us a little breakdown of you.
Oh, man. Been playing Madden leagues probably about 5 years. You know, probably back when we did, you know, when we were doing everything through, like, Extreme and what was the other one? It was another one that was horrible. Like, you had to literally put all your stats in. So I've been doing that. Been doing that for a while. Leagues I'm in now, let's see. At one point, I think in my mind, I forgot that I have a woman, and literally I was in 8 leagues. Like
8?
8 leagues. Like, it was because, see, every minute I turned around, someone hit me up and was like, hey, I got a good league. And I just, for some reason, I was like, okay, fine. I wasn't saying no. I was just joining leagues, and I literally looked probably about a week ago, and I was in 8 leagues. And I was like,
surprised you still have a woman.
Yeah, so I dropped 4 leagues, like, literally in a matter of, like, 15 minutes. I sent messages to admins and dropped. And right now I'm in 4. I'm in 1 that once I finish the playoffs, I'm going to be done with that one. So I'm dropping down to 3 now.
All right. Well, hey, we appreciate having you in our league. You've been a solid owner, and we'll keep talking about fits. It's really, we got to look at how we're going to do captains, and you know, now we're 3 years down the road versus what the NFL is, and it's always, you know, there's never a solid. You know, what do you do with a guy like Tom Brady? Do you let him be traded or not? And so we'll be talking, but definitely not going to try to hamstring you down there, and love what you've been doing with Arizona so far. And I look forward to seeing what you do in the playoffs.
Yeah, I appreciate it, but I wish I could sound more enthusiastic, but hey, it's one of them. We're just happy to be here. Maybe Tony Gonzalez will announce that he's going to retire after the playoffs, and that'll give us momentum to carry us through the playoffs. Maybe that's
there you do like a Ray. He'll say he's going to ride it out with this team no matter what. There you go.
Yeah.
To motivate everybody. Well, hey, you know what? Thanks again for calling into the show. Thanks for being a part of West 360. And I got to tell you also, you have the 2 best names. Hacksaw Jim Thuggin and Baracco Drum are the best names.
Don't get no better.
That's it. That's the best. So, yeah. But anyways, thanks for being a part of West 360, and thanks for calling in tonight.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Y'all keep up the good work.
All right. Later, Brock.
All right. Later.
All right, Josh. Jumping down to the NFC West. Cardinals finish 12-4. Seahawks finish 11-5. Niners 8-7. He kind of tanked it at the end there. Old Allen, old execution, 9. He was doing good. I think he had to leave to go do some school function the last 2 weeks, so that really stinks. So that could have really changed his record. The Rams, you know, we had that old owner in there, and he missed a lot of games. Got a new owner in there now. And good guy, highly recommended, I think, from Domino. I think his name is Derek Bullock. Cardinals, Josh. The Cardinals have won the NFC West.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
We're gonna win it next year, too.
Phenomenal. I mean, he keeps harassing me, give me a new team, but it's hard enough to get an owner for a bad team, let alone a good owner who can do something with the team, you know? So we'll see what happens there.
You know, so far his track record has been fantastic. He's obviously an invested owner in West 360, and you know, while we set those captains lists and those trade restrictions, you know, to try to keep the integrity of the league as best as we could, and we even, you know, we restricted the former owner of the Arizona Cardinals from trading Patrick Peterson.
Yeah.
But you know, after now going through this season with Barack and seeing the level of success he's had with those Cardinals, and yet still what he wants to build, I'm not opposed to letting him maybe move a guy like Larry Fitzgerald. And let me say this division is his. The St. Louis Rams are a brand new team, brand new owner. Well, not brand new, but a new-ish owner, and a team that's, again, questionable in talent. The San Francisco 49ers was another team that was changed ownership during the course of the year. We have a long-time, die-hard 49er fan there with execution, and we know that he's not going anywhere, but he has shown at times it's been tough for him to win games in West 360. Seattle Seahawks recently changed, although they have a very talented football team. We really don't know what we have in I am Brett Favre, I believe is his gamer tag, and I'm almost positive he lost his last game. So we got a division that's kind of in flux. The strongest part of this division is the Arizona Cardinals, and I don't. He's very humble in the way that he addresses his team. This guy has won a lot of football games that, frankly, none of us expected him to win. This is a team that's won football games and a team that's had success in West 360 that no one expected. The real-life Arizona Cardinals this year started off 4-0, and then I think only won 2 more games, maybe 1 more game.
Yeah, they're
the rest
jumped.
of the season. Yeah, they're terrible. This guy's won 6 games straight. 6 straight.
I'm saying.
Now, he just lost his last game, and I know
Killing
that's a dumpy way to end your regular season. At the end of it, it really doesn't matter. It didn't shift his playoff position. This guy's got Nick Foles at quarterback, a guy with a 75 downfield deep throw that still won 6 games for him. So I think that there's a lot to be expected of the Arizona Cardinals despite his disposition on them. I think they're going to win a game in this year's playoffs. I think that he's going to be in a very good position going into next year, and I think that that Barack is going to have a long tenured history of success in West 360.
All right, Josh, let's jump to we'll jump to the AFC West real quick. Raiders 12-3, Broncos 9-6, Chargers 5-10, and the Chiefs 5-10. Raiders win the division, second ranked in the AFC playoffs this year. I'm surprised by that because I made a move earlier this year that I thought would hurt me more than it did. I got rid of Carson Palmer and decided to go with Mallett early on. I think it was like week 3. And I did that because, Palmer's getting older. Mallett has a great potential. His ceiling is really high. He can throw the ball a mile. And so I decided to go ahead and just forego Palmer, even though he won the Super Bowl last year, send him to Cleveland, and went with Mallett. Well, Mallett hasn't been nowhere near as prolific as Palmer was last year. And I know prolific and Palmer don't really go together very often in real life.
Fake football, yeah.
Yeah. In Madden, he killed it. I mean, he was good in Madden. Mallett on the year, 2,200 yards, 16 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. McFadden got hurt early on for like 4 weeks, and the Raiders had a plethora of injuries. McFadden went down. Denarius Moore went down. Marcel Reese went down. I just was getting injured all over the place. Lost a few games because of it. But overall, I'm happy with how the season has gone. But really, it's defense. Second in points, second against yards, second against passing yards, and third against rushing yards. It's a defense that continues to help this team be as good as they are. Because with all those injuries, I had no business winning some of those games I did.
Let me ask you something.
Go ahead.
You're always very humble about your football team, and you don't like to talk about them. But I want to highlight something. You have a lot of questions on defense, and despite that fact, you've had a fantastic success in defending the pass and the run this year. And I don't want you to give us gory details, obviously, because I don't want to reveal anything that's about your gameplay. But in vaguely, in generalities, what is it that you look for? What are you seeing defensively that's led to that success? You got guys like Ron Bartel, Shawntae Spencer, Chris Johnson. You got guys that are, C-list secondary players that are just balling out for you and have from day one.
I don't think it's a secret, Josh. In this year's Madden, speed and man coverage is all that matters on defense. It's no secret. And being a natural Raiders fan in life, I like playing that bump and run man coverage, and I like speed. One of my main things on defense is I don't want to get burnt. So I I mean, I'm not going to tell you what I play all the time, but 2 men under is a solid defense. You know, I play and stuff. But, you know, situational football. I'll switch to zone here and there if I need to. Speed and man coverage, I think, is where it's at in this Madden. And based upon my play style, I always play speed man coverage. I tried doing that last year as well with the Chiefs and even before that with the Falcons. And this year, I mean, early on, we all were just trashing zone coverage. You know, zone coverage is garbage. Now, in our fantasy league, I play a little more zone coverage because I got freaking Jonathan Joseph and Cromartie over there, you know, so I can. You know, these guys, Chris Johnson, Shante Spencer, Chimney Chekwa, have no business having 9 picks, 10 picks, 6 picks, whatever they got and stuff, you know. However, in this year's Madden, it works because they're fast, and I just do nothing but man coverage, you know, and so that helps. But also,
do you user the DB to get those picks? Do you have a lot of? Let me ask you this: do you have more instances of those guys knocking the football down, or them actually making the interception?
Oh no, I my stick skills stink. I user a DT. Real men user DTs, Josh.
No, real men don't user anything.
If I user them, they usually get completions on me. I mean, a couple times, you know, the ball hawk feature is nice, you know, but my guys can't catch, so they have more pass knocks than anything. But really, there's been 2 guys on the Raiders defense this year who have been a surprise. Lamar Houston on the end, he has 18 sacks on the year. I think his block shed is close to 90, and his finesse moves are in the 90s. So he's been a monster for me on the edge. And then also Rolando McClain. Again, the Raiders guys suck freaking face in real life, but in Madden, for whatever reason, they're good. McClain is leading the league in tackles with 87 tackles. He has 6 sacks, and he has 7 forced fumbles. He's a monster in the middle. It's amazing. His pursuit, play recognition, it's beast. And so, Raiders defense is good. And you got Branch and Huffy up top, so I try not to get in the way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I try to make... Go ahead.
One more question then about your defense, and then I'll leave it alone. So, with a guy like Houston, okay, that's an excellent shed, and that's an excellent finesse move. Is that because your coverage?
Hold on, we got Bat Rastard calling in. We got Bat Rastard, I believe, calling in. Bat Rastard, are you there?
What's up, man?
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing very well. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm talking about the Raiders, my favorite topic.
Yeah, I was gonna try to wait until you got into the AFC East a little bit, but
hey, let's talk about it. All year long, this has been my favorite division to watch. This division, and with the Jets 4-12, that doesn't show it. This division was tight. 2 games separated top to bottom all year long, and you ended up winning it at 9-7. What was it like playing in this division all year with it being so close with all you guys?
You know, it's same as last year too. It's a dogfight every week, and you know, all the games seem to be tight that I've been involved in with these guys. And you know, last year the Jets had my number. They swept us last year, and this year we started out, and he took the first game, and I was just hoping that when I got a chance to see him again, I was going to be able to come out on top. But every single game is just nip and tuck.
Was there something that you've seen in your opponent's gameplay that you took advantage of, or would you attribute it more just to luck, or was it skill that kind of propelled you to the top?
You know, I think what I tried to do was early on in the season, I did try to mix in another playbook, and that didn't go very well for me. So I just kind of got back to basics and really tried to cut down on the mistakes. You know, one of my big issues all year long has been the number of picks that I've thrown, and so really what I tried to do was just try to kind of get back to a little more balanced attack, a little more conservative, and just kind of make sure that, you know, I knew my defense was fairly solid. If I could keep the game close, I had an opportunity to win.
Let me ask you about your quarterback play this year. You mentioned the picks, but I think one of the bigger offseason moves that happened this year was when Kurt Warner declared himself back eligible came out of retirement, and you jumped all over it. You were the front runner in that and bringing him into Buffalo, and obviously with previously having Ryan Fitzpatrick as your quarterback, that was clearly a spot that needed to be filled, and to bring in a guy that's quote elite like Kurt Warner and to fill that role. I mean that I thought was a very strong move for your football team. How has he responded? I know that again you mentioned the picks, but how has he been for you as a quarterback? I mean, when you look at his numbers, when you look at a 90 throw power, he's got a 98 short throw, he's got a 95 medium and a 91 deep. Those are fantastic numbers that I think anybody in our league, other than Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, would be jealous of. So what has it been about Kurt Warner? How's that experience been for you as an overall?
Well, you're absolutely right. I think it was huge. When I saw that he came out of retirement and was on the free agent market, I knew that I had to do something. Last year, I felt, my Achilles heel was, in the pass game, the lack of throw power from Fitzpatrick. A lot of those deep comeback passes, things like that I couldn't quite get the ball there on time, that ended up, either a pick six or, batted down ball by the defensive back. I felt that, all right, here's my opportunity to get somebody that's got the throw power necessary to make those throws. So that, I think, coupled with the trade, when I traded C.J. Spiller for Floyd, I needed another weapon in there in that pass game to kind of help me out, and I think it's paid off. I've still made some bad reads and some bad throws, but overall I've been able to make enough plays, and Warner's been able to complete enough passes for me to finally get to the end and be sitting in first place in the AFC East.
What do you do with Kurt Warner? It was a one-year contract. I think you got 11 guys to re-sign. Warner is one of them. Kirk Morrison, another one on your defense. And I don't know the Bills very well. I would imagine those are your two big guys. You got Darius, that's your defensive tackle. Smith. No, those guys have 2 years. I'm sorry. What do you do with Warner? Do you keep him? You only got $5 million in cap space.
Yeah, I don't know. I signed him to a one-year contract, so I don't know. Maybe he's going to retire at the end of the year. If he's still out there, I would entertain bringing him back, but probably not at $11 million a year like I signed him last year. So that's one of the things. I did draft a rookie quarterback last year in the draft.
That Italian guy, right?
Yeah, he's definitely, I think, a little bit of a project. If push came to shove, I'd have to probably rely on Fitzpatrick again in the upcoming season before I throw the young guy in there. But, if Warner's out there for a reduced price tag, I might think about bringing him back. But, a lot of it depends on how far he takes me in the playoffs.
Are you, everybody expects to do well in the playoffs. Nobody ever gives a realistic expectation of, I expect to lose in the wild card. Do you think your Bills match up well? I know one of the things I noticed in our game is you were very balanced. You came out, 2 tight ends primarily, ran the ball on me, sucked me up, and then hit me deep with play actions and stuff like that. And that was one of the things I was really impressed about, is that I couldn't figure you out. You kept me off balance all game. Are you expecting to continue that in the playoffs? Do you think your gameplay is good enough and your team is good enough to compete with maybe some of the more elite teams with better talent than the Bills?
Well, I can tell you that playing some of the more elite teams earlier this year, if you just looked back at the record, it wasn't very impressive. So heading into the playoffs, that certainly may not bode well on the outside looking in. I do feel that it is important to come out, be balanced, right? Give a look that the defense doesn't know whether you're going to run or pass.
Yep.
One of the things I did was mid-season, I just went ahead and permanently installed Felix Jones as a starter, just because he gives you a little more quickness, gives me that ability to get to the edge. Fred Jackson, great running back. Certainly, I still mix him in there on occasion, but as we all know in this game, speed kills. So, if I can play decent defense and not give up the big play, and keep the score close, and be balanced and move the ball and not make mistakes, then I think I have an opportunity to at least knock one or two people off before I give in.
There you go. Hey, Bat. Appreciate having you in the league. I think this is your third season now with us, and you've been a solid owner. Nice to see you winning that division. I know it was a dogfight, and I think you might be the best prepared owner going into the playoffs because you've played in more games that have had more significance than maybe some of the other guys that had a 3 or 4 game lead in their division. So that might bode well for you. So I appreciate the phone call and look forward to seeing what you do in the playoffs.
Absolutely appreciate it, and I look forward to, I guess maybe I'm matching up with the Titans. So I know last time we played, it did not go my way. So I look forward to a rematch.
I look forward to our rematch as well. I think we're looking at a first-round matchup, and as much as I like to wish success upon the rest of the league, being that we'll be playing against each other, I hope for a reenactment of the Music City Miracle.
I am absolutely certain you do, sir, and I'll look forward to getting there mixing it up with you.
All right, thanks a lot, Bat. Appreciate you calling in, bud. Appreciate you being part of the league, and have a good night.
Hey, great show, guys. Good night.
Thanks, see you, Ben. All right, Josh, let's talk about that AFC. Finishing with the AFC West, I'm really happy with the Raiders. The Broncos, surprise of the season.
I'm sorry, can I take this?
Go ahead. Well, let me preface it. Let me preface it. No, let me preface.
Let me take it. I promise I'll close strong.
The Broncos only really lost, I think, 1 or 2 games playing. He had to go on AP. He was moving. I think this might even be his last season with us because there's just too much going on with his family, and he just bought a house, and we all know how that goes if you've bought a house before. And so this might be his last season. So his playoffs might be his last hurrah. He's had a good season. He beat me straight up. It came down to last play and stuff, but he beat me. They're good. They've had a great season. So go ahead.
Here's how I sum up the AFC West. As diehard silver and black bleeding Oakland Raider fans, card-carrying members of the Raider Nation, here's how you sum up the AFC West. You, them.
No, man. Dude, Broncos beat me. How can you say that? They beat me. He's good. He's good. He's good. No, I disagree.
It's over.
And I say the Chargers and Frankie. Frankie's gonna make some noise, dude. I played him. He's tough.
I love you. I hate your team. Kizzle, I love you. I hate your team. See you guys.
All right. Josh has given the more subjective point of view as a lifelong Raider fan. I am a lifelong Raider fan as well, but I have to be a little more objectional here.
Yeah,
So
we only got so many breaths in this life, and none of them are worth the Broncos, or excuse me, the Donkeys, the Chefs, and the Dolts.
Okay, moving forward, AFC East. As I said before, my favorite division in all of football. This was a dogfight every week, and Josh, I gotta think that Bat Rastard is the most prepared owner going into the playoffs. Because I'm not kidding. Every week, it was a dogfight there. I mean, the Patriots were leading, Dolphins were up there, the Jets were there for a while. I don't know what happened towards the end of the season, but he may have, I think, the poorest record going into the playoffs out of anybody. But man, I'm not discounting them for nothing.
Well, absolutely, and then you talk strength of schedule. I mean, this division had to play against the AFC South, which, yeah, I'm happy to be a part of, and I'm thankful for my gameplay. But when you look at the others that play in the South, I mean, they're no slouches, and that was a tough matchup for the East. It was when you say dogfight, not only was it a dogfight for them internally, but it was externally, and it's none more evident than when you look at their divisional records. Every single one of these teams at the time that I'm looking at this is 3-3. When you look at the conference records, 7-5, 6-6, 5-7, and then True ended up at 3-9. But you're absolutely right. This is one of the more highly contested divisions and highly contested members of conferences, and so winning that division at 7-9, you can't look at that like what that number might represent. Like when we've seen other teams in real life football win their division and kind of limp in. This is not a team limping in by any means. And I'm looking forward to my matchup against Bat Rastard. He's a longtime Madden player in our league and many others, and he's definitely a very qualified opponent. And while the Tennessee Titans had the good fortune of ending up on the front end of that score the last time we played, that's by no means any kind of a lock, and I will certainly prepare as much as possible. And look forward to watching this division going into next year. Shazani Max got the New England freaking Patriots, for crying out loud. This team is going to contend. I just played True PJ just last night, and he doesn't quite have the same level of impact as he has had in the past on defense.
It's his quarterback, man.
It's quarterback.
Sanchez is crap.
And then Sanchez puts his defense in bad positions depending on them to make plays. And so if he has one or two bad spots on defense, that's it. It's ball game for him. So I look to see the Jets maybe make a move for quarterback in the offseason. And, and then as far as the Dolphins go, Dolphins are kind of, middle of the pack team. It's only going to take one or two positions for them to fill elite, to kind of jump up as well. When you look at the Dolphins, they're kind of challenged from a talent perspective, especially at wide receiver. So this thing could, again, like it was this year, again could be next year, and probably more so next year, be an absolute dogfight. And I look forward to watching these guys in the East duke it out next year.
I love it. All right, Josh, let's take a quick commercial break. Mainly because I got to freaking urinate. I drink a gallon of water. When we come back, we're going to talk about the offseason and the draft, and we'll talk about the captains real quick. I know we don't have a set answer what we're going to do there, but I got some ideas we'll hash out, and we'll try to wrap it up in the next 15 minutes. I know we're going really long, and my wife freaking probably hates me right now. So we'll be right back. If there's dead air after the commercial, it's because I'm going really long.
Hey, this is Vic Tafer from the Chronicle, and you're listening to Salty and Josh at West 360 Radio. Hey, this is Vic Tafer from the Chronicle, and you're listening to Salty and Josh at West 360 Radio.
Okay, I'm back. We're back. Live on the air. Josh, you with me?
Yeah.
Whew! I think I dribbled it down my leg. I hate that. Okay. You know what I'm saying? When you're in a hurry, you just kind of freaking, put it in there too fast. I hate that. Anyway, moving forward. Okay. 360 Radio. What we talking about? What we lying about?
We're talking about we don't lie about nothing. We're going to talk about the playoffs.
I can't hear you. You're kind of quiet back there.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're still kind of quiet.
Really?
Yeah. No, maybe something happened. All right.
You affect the setting? How about now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's just you're kind of back there.
No.
Something's really loud. What the heck's, what's so echoey right here? All right, Josh. Off season.
Anything? All my connections are normal.
What's that?
I said I hadn't changed anything, and all my connections are normal.
Oh, okay. Maybe it was just me.
Okay.
So, off season. What we've typically done is we've never had a hard schedule for it. We've just always, based upon when it ends, is when we move forward with it and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So based upon when the Super Bowl happens, we'll figure out when we move forward with everything else. So today's what? Saturday? Sunday night. Sunday night?
Sunday.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sunday night. So playoffs happen maybe what? Did you fart in the mic again?
Yes, like an hour ago.
Ay. Scotty just posted it online. So, playoffs.
I think I was laughing.
I don't know.
Well, I was laughing at you dribbling down your leg, but I was laughing because
Yeah. Hey, listen to our show. Listen to us dribble pee down our leg and fart. Yeah, it's real great. And talk about our fake playoff league. It's freaking phenomenal. You can hear what a brontosaurus whale is like, too.
Where did Scotty post that?
On the Spreaker chat.
Oh, on the Spreaker chat. Okay.
Yeah. I could say really something bad about K-Matt's O-face in this sound, but I'll try to refrain. Okay, moving forward. So, off-season. The league week 17 should end Wednesday night. It's our standard. I'm all flustered now. So standard.
All it takes is a fart to get you flustered.
I got friggin' pee on my leg, dude. That sucks. I'm trying to clean it all up and I didn't finish, man. It's horrible. Anyway.
Wait till you have that baby. You're gonna have fart and pee all over you all the time, anyways.
Yeah. Nah, I work. She's gonna take care of that.
Well, that's what you say now until it's 4:00 in the morning and she nudges you out of bed to go deal with it.
I got work in 2 hours. Anyway, so week 17 should end Wednesday. Playoffs start Wednesday. Wild card maybe hopefully done Friday night. Divisional maybe done Saturday. Conference maybe Saturday, Sunday. Super Bowl Monday. Best case scenario. If that happens, then we're drafting that Sunday. So we'd spend 6 days in the off season?
Yeah, we need to get that handled that way. I think that we need to be drafting by next Sunday. I don't think there's any reason why we can't get that in.
No. We're looking 2 Sundays from now to draft.
No, why? Why so long?
Well, I just laid it out there. Today's Sunday.
Yeah.
By Wednesday, week 17 ends.
Oh, that's right. We have to. Yeah.
Wild card.
That stinks. I wish guys that, we only got 1 game left in the regular season. I wish these guys would kind of knock this thing out and be able to advance earlier. But you're correct. We don't want to stray from our standardized advances, and so that makes sense.
I mean, looking at, is there any other games that have playoff implications? You got Falcons, Carolina. But I don't want to, screw guys out playing their game and stuff.
No, we want to be.
So Wednesday we advance.
Even if guys didn't make the playoffs, we consider it. Yeah, no doubt.
Wednesday we advance. Wild card hopefully done by Friday. That's 4 games, right? Divisional maybe Saturday. Conference Sunday. Super Bowl Monday. Hopefully, we can broadcast a lot of those games. I know you got broadcast capability, so do the Falcons and the Redskins and me. So at least 4 of the guys in the playoffs can broadcast their games. Which, by the way, I think that's freaking legit, dude, that we broadcast our games.
It's pretty cool. I really enjoy it. Unfortunately, I got to say, I got to get a capture card because it's doing it with the computer or with the webcam. It's kind of a distraction,
Capture card's the way to go.
Yeah, it is.
So, looking at a draft, most likely in 2 weeks from tonight. We'll spend maybe 5 or 6 days in the off season, and I'm even willing to say that whenever the Super Bowl finishes, whether it finishes Monday, a week from tomorrow, or Wednesday, a week from Wednesday, we still draft that Sunday. Because I don't want to spend a week or a week and a half or 2 weeks going through those stages. Because really, and I got them written down somewhere, I don't want, there's only a couple stages that really matter. The first stage matters because you're re-signing your guys. Bidding is important, but there's no reason to spend more than 24 hours, if even that much. Maybe 16 hours or something like that per each bidding period. And then the draft, stage 7, I think, is the stage right before the draft. But you can't do anything in that stage. So really it's just a re-signing and a couple bidding periods is all that really matters. So maybe we'll do 48 hours, get your guys signed, and I'll be heavy texting everybody and making sure we're on communication there about getting guys signed. I don't want nothing that happened last year, like, I didn't have time, and these guys are off limits. I ain't gonna be doing that. Either you got time or you don't, and that's just the way that's gonna go. So the big thing is the draft. I know we've done Sunday before. I think we did Sunday last time, right?
Sure did.
And what we do like 9:00 Eastern, something like that.
Yeah, we did the same thing for West to see as well.
Yeah, that's a different beast though. That's the fantasy draft.
Sure, but what I'm point is though.
Sunday night.
Draft was scheduled at the same time.
But we'll definitely put to the league, as we always do. We'll throw out maybe a Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. Those are typically days where everybody's available. And then maybe a random Wednesday night or Thursday night. I know some guys leave town and stuff. So let the league vote. but typically it's been Sundays, and maybe start 8 Eastern, 9 Eastern. Who knows? We'll figure that out too. Preseason, we want to do it right, and I think last season we did a 48-hour advance for the first game,
correct, and
then 24-hour advances, and the league started on Saturday on schedule, right?
Correct.
Okay, so we'll probably do that same route, and so really it just depends on the Super Bowl when we're doing things. But if previous history serves correct, then we'll be drafting 2 weeks from tonight.
Right.
On Sunday night.
Right.
And that's what's today, the 10th?
Yes.
So Sunday the 24th.
No, well, yeah, technically it's Monday now where I live, but yes.
So Sunday the 24th, we'd be drafting. And again, we'll put it to vote, but most times we do Sunday. Regarding captains, Josh, we talked about it a while back, about making changes, what we're going to do, and all that kind of stuff. But then we never really followed up with it. We just kind of said, well, we'll deal with it. I mean, not really that, but we said we'll deal with it, in detail once
we need to.
Once the season's over. Yeah, once the season's over and stuff. So I like the trade committee. I like what we do there. But here's the issue we face with captains. It's all subjective at this point. There is no way to be objective and say this guy can't go and this guy can go because Bolden, who else? Percy Harvin. What do you do with Tom Brady when he gets older and stuff? There's just so much opinions
Joe Flacco
there.
for crying out loud. He just won
Joe Flacco, yeah,
Super Bowl MVP. He might be on the move.
And so it's so hard to say this is the way it is. This is the only correct way it is, and therefore fall in line or get the heck out. So we're not going to do that. We've never done that. We've always done things based upon what's best for the league. As we look at the league, we're finishing up season 2. It's February. We've done 2 seasons since September. So that's 2.5, 3 months a season, roughly. If it's February now, we'll be starting. We'll do the draft on the 24th. March 1st is right around the corner. I think it'll be actually right then we'd start season 3. 3 months carries us into March, April, May, and then June, July, August. So really we're looking at 2 more seasons in West 360 here. So we're going to get 4 seasons total. Regarding captains, here's what I'm kind of thinking. Let me know what you think. And and by no means is this a one and done conversation. I just want to throw out some ideas and get the conversation going about what's best for the league. Right now we require 5 captains per team. 1 on offense, 1 on defense, and then you fill in the rest. This is basically to preserve the league. We want when we face the Niners, we want to see Frank Gore, Patrick Willis, Vernon Davis, because those guys typically won't be traded in real life, 2 years down the road. But now we're in year 3. So here's what I'm thinking. Instead of saying you have to have 5 and you got to take 1 off and replace 1, for season 3, we say of your current 5, cut down to either 2 or 3 captains. And then in season 4, we say do what you want to do because it's the last season. What do you think about that idea?
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic idea. I mean, why not? And when you look at the way that this thing lays out, early on, when we're doing our first season, when we roll the clock back to September, I think that we got to have the stricter captain's rules in place to retain the integrity of the league, to try to retain the football replication, right? The NFL replication. I'm not going to say the 3-letter word, but to try to retain that, we got to have stricter guidelines versus when you roll through the process. Okay, we got a guy in our league right now. His name is Salem Woods. What has Salem Woods ever done in the real life NFL?
Nothing.
So what does Salem Woods mean to you or to the 31 other guys by name recognition? It means nothing. But if I say the name to you, Larry Fitzgerald, there carries a weight, there carries a history, there carries a quality of player with it that's synonymous with Arizona, with the Cardinals, and with that franchise. So it makes those types of decisions tougher. Now, as we go and progress through years ahead, will Larry Fitzgerald be eligible to get moved 3-4 years from now, from today, Yeah, quite possibly. Sure, anybody is. And whether it's the New England Patriots or the in the past, or the Baltimore Ravens this year, or there's whether it was Julius Peppers or Champ Bailey, or we've seen high-profile players throughout the course of the history of the NFL move. So, I think that as we get away from that initial season, owners get established. The trade committee is still in place, but we get guys making moves for the right reasons, and they're established owners like Hacksaw. We could be wrong, but I get the feeling from the level of his participation in talking with him, he's going to be around for a while, and he's going to try to make moves that are going to better his football team. Does having a world-class wide receiver make his football team better than the draft picks and or prospects?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So there's a fair weight there. So yeah, I'm with you. I agree. And as we get closer to the end of the run, we're about halfway through it now. So yes, let's start loosening up. Let's give guys some more freedom. But I would say this to anybody listening: keep it in perspective. We're not going to. That doesn't mean you can move Tom Brady for a 4th-round pick. You know what I mean?
Trades still and will always need approval.
Yeah, absolutely. That doesn't
mean
that you're going to.
We're only halfway done with this. We still got 6 more months, and we're not going to let you ruin your team, dip out, and then somebody else comes in and it takes over a crap team. So
absolutely,
we're always going to require trade rules, trade approval. That's guaranteed.
Yes, absolutely. Still has to remain in perspective, and going back to some other trades that have happened in the past. Probably going forward, we wouldn't have let those high-profile guys. Not picking on anybody, but Andre Johnson is one we probably would have wanted back. That's probably a trade that shouldn't have moved, this past year. But going forward into next year, is that something that maybe is a little more consideration? Sure. You know what I mean? So, anyways, it's not carte blanche. It's not a free pass to turn this into the fantasy league. But we are going to, as we grow through the multiple seasons, we're going to give a lot more leeway because we got players coming in that guys like Salem Woods that would take precedent as players to retain versus the veterans that are already have a name established on your football team.
Yeah, exactly. And so, basically with that, I think what we're going to do is me and Josh will decide, and we'll talk to a couple other guys in the league that are long term and what they think and stuff, because we definitely want this to be Green Bay Packers ran more than, I don't know, the guy from freaking Iran running a team. more of a community-based league than a dictatorship.
The Ayatollah. The Ayatollah is taking over the next team available in West 360.
Yeah. Because you guys are in it too, so it's your league too. That's why we let you guys help decide the draft. It's that's what I think it makes it more of a fun league and more of a fun experience if everybody has a chance to chime in once in a while. So we'll talk about 2 or 3 guys on the captain's list, and then season 4, just open it up. No captains required. Definitely trade approvals are still needed. So let's just clarify that. Trade approval still needed for any type of trade, but everybody's been pretty good about that, so no issues there. But the captain's thing, we'll talk about it. We'll look at it, and then at that point, then the next question, Josh, do we decide who the captains can be, or do we let them decide who the captains can be? So that'll be the next discussion after that as well.
Yeah, and that's a slippery slope because you and I have had multiple discussions over the years about overall ratings, and it's still something that not calling anybody out, but guys, don't look at overalls. You may have a player that's a 90-something overall, but that doesn't mean anything reflective to his position because
it's face of franchise. It's always been face of franchise.
Absolutely, it's face of the franchise, and it's Chris Johnson is 98 speed and has an 80+ carry and 80+ agility and all these things that are reflective of what makes him good as a running back. What makes a wide receiver good as a wide receiver? There are certain things that fit in to that overall rating that doesn't necessarily quantify them for the position that they play. So that's where we tend to try to keep that stuff sometimes close to the vest, is that not that you guys aren't capable of identifying your own captains, but sometimes we don't want to lock into something as simple as, well, his overall is this, so he's automatically a captain. Well, he's not. I mean, face of the franchise, what makes him good for that position, that's what makes him a captain.
Well, and to piggyback on that, we never make a rule or a judgment based upon what we think of the competency of an owner. It's always about man. Look at the Broncos situation. He might have to dip out after this season. That's what we make rules against. Is so that not that we think guys make dumb trades. It's that, man, if a guy has to leave, we want a new owner to come in and take over the Broncos and know who's on that team. Know who the stars are. He's going to have Von Miller. He's going to have Doomerville. He's going to have Manning on the team. That's always why we do things and stuff,
Absolutely. You got a guy that comes in and Demaryius Thomas is on the Steelers. Well, that doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? You're talking about a guy that's in the prime of his career, one of the up-and-coming wide receivers in the NFL. To have that guy move at this point in his career is ludicrous. So, that's going to get a no from the trade committee.
But again, and then this is where it just comes down to being so subjective. Fitzgerald, 96 overall wide receiver, still a big part of the face of the franchise of the Cardinals. But by him moving Fitz, he can fix so many other positions on his team. What do you do there? So that's where it becomes just a slippery slope at times.
Well, and frankly, we might just have to just say, you know what, guys, it's going to be a judgment call, and we'll hear any business case, we'll hear any reason for making the move, and at the end of the day, it might just end up being subjective, and not that it's going to be any kind of a dictatorship or anything where Salty and I slam the table and say, no, this is going to be the way it is, and tough, you don't like it. Not to say that by any means, but sometimes there isn't really a definitive answer, and you really got to look at the overall. Again, to draw the Demaryius Thomas versus Larry Fitzgerald comparison, are they both synonymous with the franchise at this point in their careers? Absolutely. Do they both have the same amount of value to each team? Absolutely. But do the Arizona Cardinals have more glaring holes in their football team than the Denver Broncos? Absolutely. So is that going to elevate the overall talent on the roster of the Arizona Cardinals by moving Larry Fitzgerald? The answer to that question is yes. When it comes to Demaryius Thomas, the answer is no. So that's the kind of things that we're going to be looking at when we weigh these decisions. And then just to piggyback on that, it's not just you and I. We're talking about the trade committee. We try to bring in, for the guys that are new with us, we bring in you. We bring in owners from around the league. We've had different trade committees over the seasons. We want to have the opinions of the league. It's not just Salty and I. So we pose it to the committee. There are times that he and I disagree. Those guys agree and vice versa. So we kind of put it out there. That way it's not just us, kind of making a call on one move or another.
Is it too much for a freaking video game, Josh? I mean, come on. It's a video game. Why do we stress so much?
Because that's
crazy.
That's why we have more than tens and tens of listeners to this show, because we care.
It's ludicrous, Josh. It's a freaking video game. It's a video game. We invest our lives, and it's just it baffles me. But man, it's so much fun.
It is fun.
So much fun.
We care, man. That's what makes it good.
It's so much fun.
If we didn't care.
All right, so in closing, good luck to all you teams.
Closing? You mean we're done?
Dude, we've gone freaking 2 hours. My wife's giving me the evil eye through the door. I can feel it.
2 hours and 7 minutes is not enough to cover West 360.
When I went out to freaking take a leak, dude, she's in the living room. She just looks over at me. I'm like, hey, she just gives me this glare, dude.
You like
I'm dead. I didn't even do the dishes last night. She ended up doing them.
You still didn't do the dishes?
No.
You know what? If you're not careful, it's going to end up being the sports dago.
The sports dago. Welcome to 360 Radio with Josh. Sonny is dead. He has no balls left. All right. So in closing, more talk about the captains, whether it'll be 2 or 3, and then we'll open it up season 4. Trades are still always need trade approval. And Josh, we have really good trade rules. You know how I know how?
How's that?
There's somebody who copied our trade rules verbatim and put them in their league. That's flattery. We got good trade rules. So, trade rules always require somebody. Captain's list. We'll look at that going forward. Nick Foles, by the way, leads the league in passing. 4,300 yards, 42 touchdowns. Just saying. In yards wise. Good luck in the playoffs moving forward. Regarding the off-season schedule, that'll vary based upon when the Super Bowl ends. We're looking at 48 hours for re-signing, and then we'll kind of blitz through the bidding period, 16, 24 hours, something like that. Looking to draft probably in 2 weeks on Sunday night, or basically 2 weeks, whatever weekend day you guys pick. We'll put the vote up here shortly on Facebook in the next couple days, and I'll also try to update the calendar on the Pro Board site once we get a little more definitive days of what's going to happen and stuff like that. And Madden Daddy, if you want a channel, if you got Elgato Game Capture or an iPhone or a computer, you want to start filming your games, let me know. I'll put a channel up on Madden Daddy for you. I'm loving the fact that we got 6 channels, Josh, and any time of the week you can pop on there and find some games going on. The other day, me and Hot Fan playing at the same time. That was really fun. So I think it's a cool element to the league. I'm loving that.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the fact that we have a kind of the game mix going on the bottom of the Madden Daddy page, and I look forward to seeing more involvement as we go forward. And Sonny, I've read hints that the game capture is going to be an integrated portion of Madden 14 in next year's game. We've already seen it pop up in Black Ops 2 with this latest update. And how cool is that if we had an actual in-game element as a way to broadcast? That would be fantastic. That way we could get 32 essentially boxes on our Madden Daddy page that you could pipe into any time to see our live Madden games in West 360.
And I'm not much for bragging, Josh. No brag, just fact. I have yet to see another Madden Daddy site. Maybe they do it somewhere else. Have live games on their website like we do. So I think it's pretty fun. Pretty cool. All right, Josh, thanks for joining us back at 360 Radio. I had fun. Thanks to the callers. Thanks for Barack calling in. Don Taylor calling in to the Bears. K-Matt. You always call in. Thanks to Bat Raster from 3 guys we haven't heard from before on the radio show.
Yeah, great participation tonight. Excellent.
That was cool. Good luck in the playoffs for everybody. And maybe try to do a show next week, Josh. What do you think?
Yeah, we probably should. Going into the draft, the postseason, all the Super Bowl, all the good stuff. Yes, absolutely. Let's do a show. And briefly off topic, are you going to advance west to see, or would you like me to do it?
Oh, shnikes. We're 3 hours late, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, go ahead and... Well, I'm on right now. I can advance it.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Josh, for joining us. Until then, continue to take over.
More words, we're taking over.